Hello students, congratulations on finishing Territory Rush. You did a great job taking a completely broken and unplayable game in our first lesson and bringing it all the way to our finished, fun, and challenging version of our final game. You may be sitting there going, okay, so what do I do next? What are some things that I can add to Territory Rush to make the game feel like my own, something that you've created extra? So in this video, I want to give you some extra ideas that can take this game from our game and make it your game. So let's head to the computer screen and let's take a look. So here is my final version of Territory Rush with my nice start screen, my enemies moving around the grid. I can move throughout the grid, claiming territory on a capture. My captures light right up, spawning new enemies until I reach my maximum number of enemies for the round. The enemies can break my capture trail if I'm not careful, but I can also they can break my capture trail. I can also explode the enemies if I get them in one of my captured zones. And we can see for each level I have to claim, I think it's 80% of the territory. So let's see. All right, we're almost there. Get a little bit more and we should go to a brand new level, and we do. Perfect. So this is working pretty good. So what could we add here to make the game a little bit better? Well, the first thing that I always like to add to like an arcade style game might be power-ups. And so you could add collectible items that appear on the map temporarily and they could change gameplay. So maybe like a speed boost or a shield that protects the capture trail so it can't be broken, or effects that slow our enemies down. And I think this is a natural progression because the game already has collision detection, timers, and movement systems, so we can leverage all of those together with a power-up system. The next idea I had here was to have different enemy types. So right now, we could create new enemy behaviors like faster enemies or larger enemies that are slower, or enemies that chase the player rather than bouncing around the screen randomly. And I think this works pretty well because our game already stores enemies in an array. We have a container for that. And we have movement logic for the enemies and collision logic already in place. Next, we could add a combo capture system. So right now, when we capture, it's hard to talk and play the game. Right now, when we capture, we don't get any reward for it, but we might be able to give like a time boost for quick captures. So captures that happen one after the other in quick succession could maybe give us a little bit of time back to our game. And I think this fits well because we already have captured territory, we have our timers, and we have progression with our round system. Another thing is you could give territory-based bonuses. So if you capture a territory that is large enough that meets some sort of threshold for size, you could get a bonus. Again, this could be in terms of extra time added on. It could be freezing enemy movement temporarily on the screen. So if you get a large capture like that, I really thought I was going to finish that. If you get a large capture that's big enough, you could freeze all the enemies on the screen. And I think this large capture bonus is doable because we already capture and calculate our rectangular capture areas, and we just have to calculate the area of that rectangular area to determine how many cells we captured. So I think that could be a nice little system. And then lastly, we could just customize our visuals. So maybe you want to redesign the look of the game by adding new color palettes, maybe different glowing capture trails, animated grid backgrounds, or new particle colors. And I think this works pretty well because our game already has the drawing systems in place for all of that: the grid, the particles, our capture flashes, and our various colors. So those were the ideas that I had when I first thought, okay, if I wanted to implement something new into this game, what would I do? And maybe you want to take one of those ideas and run with it. Or maybe you have your own idea and you want to see if you can implement it here in this game to take our game that we built together and turn it into your game. So I hope you have good luck doing that, and I'll see you in another video.